G'day guys, welcome to the Iron Empire. This time, more Holdens. Alright guys, so I have another car in the mix, and to be honest with you, I don't know how long until this video actually reaches you guys, because there's a few things I want to do to this car before I release it, because I'm not having much luck with these things. Yes, I bought another Holden. This time, as you can see on the guard, it is a 5 litre. These are obviously renowned to being pretty tough motors, very nice sounding, and yeah, I sort of bought a spare at the moment. Actually, a subscriber and a customer of mine had it parked out front of his house, and seen the 5 litre on it, seen the price, and we done a deal. Problem being is that it's been sitting for a long time, and prior to his ownership of the car, it was not very well looked after, and this is a prime reason why you should be doing regular oil changes on cars. Look at this. That is carbon buildup from lack of maintenance, and it has just clogged up the oiling system of this car, and it's given me all sorts of grief and is doing my bloody head in. So I want to get through it, and then I will be bringing the video to you to see the results. This is about the 5th time lucky. Hell yeah. Alright, got oil pressure straight away. Lifters pumped up straight away. But I've been here before. After about a 5-minute drive, it all comes back again. So the only thing I can do now, pack up all my shit, put it on the ground, go for a spin, and see what happens. Whew. Got to get this and record it. Alright, finally a bit of a win with this car. So, long story short on this thing is it's been sitting for a long time, and basically after its first drive I lost oil pressure, and I would regain the pressure, then lose it again, and it was just a constant battle of getting and losing oil pressure. These 5 litres apparently are renowned for oiling issues, and so I was chasing issues with oil pumps. I thought maybe it was a worn motor with bearing clearance issues, so I ran a thicker oil, and then had the same problem, would lose pressure again. So then I thought the other way around, rather than trying to get a thicker oil for filling a void of a clearance of a bearing issue, maybe it was a flow issue with, you know, all the journals, the oil galleries were all clogged. So I ran a thinner oil, a 10 weight, and a cleaner through it, and for the first time I finally got some oil pressure up top. So I am bloody cheering, because I've been fighting this thing for a couple of days now, and it's just doing my head in. So I'm going to put the valve cover back on this side, give this engine bay a tidy up because it looks like a dog's breakfast, and then start doing some fun stuff like cleaning the actual car up. Little wins. Alright, so I'm on the way down to pick up the Statesman, which has hopefully had its windows tinted by now. Charles gave me a lift down, which is good of him. As you can see, I'm carrying more oil because on the way down here I had yet more issues losing oil pressure. I thought I'd overcome them, but I'm still thinking that my oil thicknesses are wrong, so I've got a thicker oil to try, and I'm going to do a side of the road oil change and then drive this thing home tonight. So fingers crossed this all goes well, but at least it's going to look good. So see how we go.
Yeah.
Yep. Alright, it's a little bit of a wait for my car now, so I'm going to do a bit of video editing and then pick this thing up. It's going to look mint.
I'm getting powers!
She's still ticky. Now for the side of the road oil replacement. Alright, Matt was nice enough to let me use the car park here so I don't get run over. But I got myself some El Cheapo oil because I've already put like 20 litres in this thing trying to solve the problems. So probably should have used cheap stuff from the start. Come prepared. Been fighting me. I even still had to pull the oil filter off. It must have an airlock or something, but as soon as I pulled the oil filter off, started it, and then put it back on, seems alright. So fingers crossed I get home tonight. Alrighty, it's about 2 or 3 weeks later. All that footage was well before Christmas, and here we are in the new year. And I'm down at Jake's shop, and I've decided that the paint has to be sorted on this car because it does my head in. Typical 90s and early 2000s cars were just junk with their paint. I don't know why the clear coat was always so junk, but stock standard, roof, boot, bonnet, top of the mirrors is all ruined. The boot's probably the best of it, but I've got another boot in the back here to put on it that Andy picked up during the week, which has a good tail light garnish as well. And this one has a ding. So the plan for today is just to get it all sealed up, and then I'm going to leave it about maybe a few days or a week, and then block it all back, lay some colour, because I want to keep using the car. I don't want it sort of out of action. So that's the plan today. I'm going to show you a couple of little tricks that I'm going to use. Not conventional tricks, but they seem to work. So I'm going to start buzzing this all back, try and blow most of this off with some high pressure air, get as much loose stuff off, and then start buzzing back and getting it all prepped up, ready to go. Okay guys, so the bonnet is all prepped up, ready to go. And I'm gonna pretty much have to talk through some real basic fundamentals of painting so people understand what the hell I'm doing here. Obviously, if you've been into paint before, you're gonna know what I'm up to. So this bonnet is, apart from that patch there, is the clear has sort of broken down a bit, as in it's dull and scratched up and shit like that, but it's not actually broken through. Like I said, apart from that little spot. So the process to sort of rejuvenating that is buzzing it all back, and sometimes you can save it with a coat of clear, as in the clear that's there is already in pretty good shape. Like for instance, this boot here. The boot's not too bad, aside from the scratches, but the roof where the actual clear has fully broken down, that's gone through to what we call base coat, which is the color. So this is base with clear over top. In this case, obviously it's far too far gone to just re-clear, so that needs color as well. With the roof here, the different plan is to buzz it all back. We want to feather all the edges here so that you don't get any shrink back spots. and it's a nice smooth finish. I can't just clear it obviously because I've gone through the colour. So the process is then sealing in the paint, putting some fresh colour down and then re-clearing. Generally, this would be primed with like a grey primer or whatever, but because I want to do this and let that harden over the next week or so, I don't really want to be driving around with a primer roof. So I'm going to give it a coat of primer and then a real light coat of just some base coat, wet over wet, which generally isn't what you want to do. You want to let that harden off first. And so what I've got here, I've got a spare boot, which I'm going to probably put on the car because it's better than the other one. And I was going to mix up some colour that's something close. I haven't actually got the colour for this car yet, but I was just going to mix up something just so at a glance it looks fine. Jake's just finished painting this SLE over here, and the colour is actually really, really close. That's a solid, and that's a metallic. So I might just put a bit of metallic in from one of the other paints here, mix it up, blow a couple of coats over the roof of the car, and then re-clear it, and then come back in a week time, block it all back so it's nice and smooth, get rid of all the shrink back areas, and once the paint's all settled, and then go again. So I'm pretty happy with that blend. That colour match is going to be probably good enough for this thing, so I might get lucky here, we'll see how we go. I'll put a bit of base down and then hit it with some clear and then hit the road. Okay, so I have my base coat down now, and I've cheated. I've put a little bit of hardener in it to try and reduce the shrink back, because shrink back is basically thinners getting in between the layers of paint, and because I've rubbed through clear and colour and all sorts of different layers, so it's still likely to shrink back anyway, but a bit of hardener should reduce that. I might get away with doing this once, but if not, it's okay because I plan on doing this anyway. I'll buzz it back and lay down some more colour and clear, but bottom line is it's all locked and sealed in now. So now on with some clear, and I've got some rocket hardener in there, which is like crushed up stuff that goes off really quick, and I'm going to be driving out of here in like 45 minutes. All right, so the final coat of clear's down and pretty happy with it. There is still a little bit of like shrink back areas, which I sort of expected, but I piled the clear on, so hopefully there's enough that I can block it back and polish it anyway. If not, we'll recoat it, no problem. Bonnet I'm really happy with. There was a split there in the paint, but honestly, this is just like a tidy, just to make it look neat. That if I was to go down that path, it would have been hours. This whole job so far, drive in, drive out, it's been 4 hours, so I'm pretty happy with that. It's gonna obviously need to polish because painting out in the open and get a lot of crap in it. And not only that, I've got the rocket hardener in it, which I find tends to dull it off a little bit once it's settled. But overall, really happy. So all I've got now is tidy up, throw the grill on and hit the road. But with the rocket hardener in there, this should be touch dry in like 20 minutes. So pretty happy so far, looking good. Now, obviously I'm not gonna be able to tell until I get this thing out in the sunlight, but I've done a blend right in the center here where that sort of dent section is, and I blended the paint throughout that whole sort of center hump. And I also painted colour on the roof. And what I ended up using was that VHSLE solid colour, which had no metallic in it. And I poured in some black to darken it up. And then I threw in some of this metallic teal glow from this XY that Jake's in the shop doing a bit of leftovers. So overall, I'm pretty happy so far. Once it's in the sun, we'll see the truth. The colour match come up real good. I'm stoked on that. The roof is a bit patchy, so that sucks. But it's already dry. How good is that? But oh well, no big deal. I've got to block the roof back anyway. So pretty much a reblock, a recolor, and a re-clear, and it's ready to go. But the bonnet's sweet. I can touch that again. Just polish. Thanks for joining me for another episode of the Iron Empire. We obviously got a fair bit done on this car already, but there's still a little bit more to do, so definitely come back for those upgrades. Don't forget to jump onto the online store if you hadn't already. Grab a build it, break it, fix it tee with the fresh stock that's come through, already selling fast, so thank you for everyone who's jumped on already. There'll be some upgrades coming in the near future on this car. I want to do some interior stuff, and obviously a little bit more with the paint. So you'll see that all on an upcoming episode of the Iron Empire. Cheers, guys.